to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. Brian's not here this week, which is fine. And you know what's funny? I'm getting into soccer lately, or football, as you know, they say overseas. And I'm learning about relegation. Do you guys know what relegation is, Joe, Kevin?
I'm not smart.
So, like, say we're on the 5th tier of pro wrestling podcasts. And, you know,
okay, I know what you're
Brian
going with.
missing, and you guys have missed a lot as of late. Maybe you guys get relegated to that other wrestling podcast.
Oh,
One of the other ones in tier 6. You know, maybe we do that if you miss so many in a calendar year, you know. Just, you know, spitball in there. But Brian's not here. Kevin and Joe are here. And there is only one place to actually start this week's podcast. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. What are your thoughts?
One, I like it that Shawn Michaels is kind of instigating a little bit. That was the best part.
Funny.
I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw. I didn't even know it was anything, and it's just mentioning what Sweet Chin Music, and then that's when Shawn tweeted. That's why I did a little investigation. I love it, and they even mentioned it on Raw as well.
I don't actually know anything because I just don't care.
Yeah, neither do I.
I think it's just was it diss tracks?
It's just diss tracks, but they've been around since the dawn of time. So,
but the problem is, it's gone a little too far. A security guard outside of Drake's house got shot with a gun because Kendrick put the house photo on the diss track display online.
Yeah.
So that's kind of shitty, but I don't really know anything about it. I like hip hop, but I don't care about this stuff. I only care about fights that are predetermined, which is the world of professional wrestling. I have not talked to you guys since Backlash. So, Joe, what was your thoughts on Backlash?
Okay, I really enjoyed it. It was predictable. I got all the picks right, just to throw that one out there. Oh, crap, I'm frozen.
Yeah, keep bragging, asshole. The internet hates that shit.
Yeah.
Yep, he's done. All right, Kevin, what did you think about Backlash?
I
go to suffer this internet penalty.
Sorry, sorry.
No, too bad.
Yeah.
You got yours.
No.
Kevin's up.
Come on. The French were so
Joe,
wild,
I tagged you back in.
They messed
Take
up my
your
internet.
egotistical, braggadocious attitude somewhere else. Go ahead, Kevin. What'd you think about?
Wow.
I'd like to tag into my
No.
Okay. I will also say very predictable. Like kind of what you mentioned last time, you know, glorified house shows being the PLEs across the pond or even in Puerto Rico. Very predictable. The thing that did it for me, most of the matches were fantastic, but it was the crowd that got the 5-star in my opinion. Like, I mean, every over the seas PLE makes people in the United States and majority of the times when they go to Canada look like we have it. Like we don't deserve these type of events because the crowds, I don't know what the hell they were chanting half the time, but like we're watching a little bit of New Japan, a lot of the clapping, which was very from the amounts I watched New Japan, right? Not really cheering. Then crazy soccer chants and the place was bouncing and holy moly, man. I mean, just the right when Kevin Owens came out and that crowd was on fire, like you knew it was going to be a spectacle to watch the crowd and of course all the matches. Joe, what did you think? Back to you.
Back to me with the crowd. I kind of figured out what they were saying. I don't speak French, but I was going with the cadence, and I think they were chanting "This is awesome" for like every single match. That's what I was predicting based on the cadence of how they were saying it. That's one. Number two, I felt like Puerto Rico had a better crowd last year. France was amazing. It's like basically going with one got a 100%, the other one got a 99%. It's like they're both A pluses, but I felt Puerto Rico was bigger.
Puerto Rico got a better crowd because they had one of their own in the main event in Bad Bunny and Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I like the crowd to a point, and then it turned into night after WrestleMania, Green Kool-Aid shirt guy, Brock Lesnar guy, Frank the Clown, all those guys thinking they're a bigger part of the show than they actually are. But for a while, it was cool. But then I had just had enough. And one of my next questions was going to be, did you like this year's Backlash versus last year's Backlash? So you're not lying, Joe. Do you see what I did there?
I got it.
Brian can't bring this humor. And why he may be relegated to that other wrestling podcast. Anyway, so the match is pretty much predictable. Kev, we'll get into do you have the scorecard from last week?
I can pop it up really fast.
Okay, so while
continue.
Kevin is working on that, I have a pop quiz for you guys. We'll start with you, Joe. If you could change any of the results, which one and why?
I probably wouldn't have changed any of them.
Okay,
fine. If I had to change one, fine. I'm going to change one. I'm going to change one. The one I would have changed would have been Damian Priest and Jey Uso. Based on the crowd reaction of him, they could build that with how over he is, and it could have. I don't think Damian Priest would have been hurt by that because you go with the hot hand.
Well, your grade is an incomplete because you didn't want to participate.
No, but I finally did. I was just late. You have to give me like 10% off. So I got a B+.
You got a 40. Kevin, first off, pop quiz. What would you change? Which one would you change and why?
On Teacher Appreciation Week, you do that to me. Really?
Why do you think I'm doing this, Joe? Come on.
I think same exact match. I just would have preferred Damien getting disqualified, keeping the belt, but disqualified with all the shenanigans that happened, because then you had a little hostility to the Judgment Day. Not, I'm going to confront you. We're still dogs. Don't worry. Like, it was just, it seemed kind of like hokey a little bit. Other than that, I thought everybody went out there to truly perform. The women's match, a little bit sloppy, and a few.
Which one?
The women's tag
match?
match?
I'm sorry. The tag team match. Sorry.
Yeah, because Bailey triple threat was good.
Bailey triple threat was great. Tiffy time. Holy moly, man. Jade, though, with the sequence on Kyrie, the strength. I mean, I was like, holy moly. And then lifting her, catching her, flipping. Like,
that was cool.
The woman looks like her and Bianca could have been best friends for like their entire lives. Just the charisma and the energy and just the way they look at each other. It's like, you can tell that Bianca's probably helped take her under her wing to help learn the WWE way in addition to NXT stuff, which is amazing to see. Like, and I say this every time. I don't know how Jade can look even more muscular, but somehow they found an outfit, that red leather bikini type thing. She has 2 more abs I didn't even know existed. Like, I
wouldn't be surprised if Bianca makes her own gear, and I bet you, because they matched so well.
Yeah.
That she made Jade.
Probably made that. Yeah, that tag match was wonky from the participants, the referee, the miscommunication of who was the legal person.
Yeah.
Joe and I were actually texting during that match, and it was just like, what are we watching? This needs to end. And gladly it did. Kevin, hit the scoreboard for our picks and how did you do last week?
And then you have to answer the question about who you would change.
I'm the teacher. I don't have
to. Brian, Joe and I both went 5 for 5 from the 5 matches. Ken really wanted that tippy time to happen. The clock ran out a little bit early on that, and then you went 3 for 5. So right now the standings: Jason with 11, Brian 19, Joe 21, I'm 23. And Ken joins the guest picker category of getting one wrong.
Oh, damn it, Ken.
I know.
Anything. Yeah, so what is the next WWE pay-per-view?
King and Queen of the Ring.
Oh, yeah, which makes no sense. They're calling it that because there's only going to be the finals on the event. So to make it a one-day tournament, come on.
Like when Brett won.
You were texting that too, and then they announced it, and you're like, never mind.
Yeah, so
I hated it when it went from 3 rounds. I loved it. And then it went to just, what is it, semifinals? So like basically a final 4 on the pay-per-view. Now, I don't like it. I like it that they're putting a lot of good talent in it.
Yeah.
But I would have appreciated if they almost went like the NXT role where they did the combine. Don't do the combine, but rank them.
What was
If
that
you're
again?
going to have, 1 through 8, put Gunther as number 1 and put,
Otis.
I don't know who lost. Yeah, something like
R-Truth
that is an
at
8,
8.
kind of like that. And then you have your bracket on the other side for the SmackDown to actually show something like that. But I don't like it that the finals are only there. Like, I feel like that's the time where you show you have that endurance. When Stone Cold beat Jake the Snake, Stone Cold just didn't have one match to win. Jake
Yeah.
ran out of steam in those finals. Like,
Yeah, 'cause
those are the
Jake had
type
to
of
win too. Yeah.
stories. I don't know.
And by the way, if you're doing ranking, I know you'll disagree with me, but the 8 seed would have to be Dragunov.
Oh, 100. Oh, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I 100% agree with you.
You
He
actually
didn't prove
do?
himself
Okay.
on the main roster yet until this past Monday.
So
Holy
let's
shit.
let's get into Monday Night Raw
Yeah.
and the tournaments started. We'll start with Finn Balor. Thought he had a first round bye. No, he had to face Jey Uso. So we start off Raw with like a pay-per-view main event as the first match. Uso wins, moves on. Then my favorite match of Raw, Dragunov and Ricochet. Now, I think that, I say this all the time. Maybe this is the time they're going to let Ricochet do something.
Mhm.
But then my old thing of, man, I wish he was like 6 inches taller. Or I wish he would have had the mask on the entire time. Because if he has the mask on, his height doesn't matter. We learned that with Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee and others. But like, that match was so good. Now, I didn't think there was any way Ricochet was going to win, but in a loss, he still looked great. It was a good showing. And then, of course, Gunther and Sheamus in the main event. Kev, we'll start with you. What'd you think of those 3 qualifier or first round matchups in the tournament?
I thought every hour, I'd have to go back and look at if Dragunov versus Ricochet was in the second hour.
It
But
was.
if it was, each hour had a main event of the hour.
Mhm.
That's what the King of the Ring tournament should be, like monster matches. Not, I don't want to put a shame on, Ivy's match, but the women need those type of matches. Even if you're not the top level names, Ivy and shucks. Who did she lose to? She just lost
Zoe,
to
no, she
yes,
lost
Zoe.
to Zoe Stark.
Yeah. Amazing upstart women, right? I wish they could have got a little bit more time, like the men did. But the men, maybe I'd go back and rewatch it. Maybe the match was good, but in comparison, holy moly! Like, I feel that Drew coming out at the end of Jey Uso, maybe he's going to do some Uso interference when Dragunov and Jey go against each other next week. Because on paper, who are you going to pick? You going to pick Jey because he's unstoppable, or are you going to stop the freight train of Dragunov? That's the exciting thing of this tournament, where I feel like a lot of times in the past, it was all this like, yep, boom, this person's going to win. Yep, this person's going to win. I'm up in the air. I want to see some shenanigans. Drew, what if he interferes somehow? Oh, is he kind of interfering with the Jey Uso now with CM Punk? It leaves a lot of opportunities to be open, which is the nice thing. And Gunther, Sheamus, holy moly, we've seen it so many times. I was like, oh, we're going to see it again.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. I want to see it again now, because I was just like, man, oh man.
Sheamus said no.
I say what?
Sheamus said no. He's done.
Yeah, I know. I saw. Well, yeah, from the point where he got a smack on, what was it, on the back, and you literally saw the digits of Gunther's fingers to the exact imprint of his hand. And it worked great on Sheamus's body because it's doughy, as in very pasty white, right? Holy moly. But
Joe.
I didn't talk about the Dragunov Ricochet just for the fact where that was the third one. I don't want to go in depth, but was that one of your guys' favorites overall, the Dragunov Ricochet of the night?
Well, I literally just said that. So
but overall the other two.
Yeah, I loved it. It was the best thing of the night for me. But Joe, what'd you think of the first? I keep saying qualifiers because for years it's always qualifier. So the first round matchups.
Amazing. Jey Uso and Finn was the worst of the 3, but that's like saying like I had a fillet and I wanted something else. It's like basically they were all good, but they were third place. First place was really tough for me, and you're going to be surprised, but second place was Gunther and Sheamus. It was amazing, but I already said they had match of the year in 2022. You denied it. They had match of the year in 2023. We got it. This one was good, but we've already seen how great they were. Period. The only thing about the Ricochet and Dragunov match I didn't like was 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah.
That hurt, but it didn't hurt enough for it to be like to say it was bad. And I was watching that match, and my wife was still up, and she was watching it too, and she's just like, "Why did like I love Ricochet? Why does he always have to lose?" And my response was, "We're getting him on TV again. Can't we just be happy with that?" For the longest time, he wasn't on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Longest time, like we never saw him. So it's like he's not only on TV, but he's on TV with 15 to 18-minute matches.
Yeah.
Like we just got to accept the fact that like he can put on a show, win or lose, it doesn't matter. If we can see him in a match, it's gonna be good. So that's why that was my number one. And plus Dragunov, like what a debut on the main roster. Come on.
Yes. So do you think Ricochet is basically the new Ziggler then, right now?
Yeah.
Better. But
Well,
yes.
he won the speed championship. I don't know if he'll be carrying that around or
I know, I was wondering that.
but congrats.
He's the inaugural speed champion. I tried to throw that to her. I was just like, but he won the first ever speed championship. You can't take that away from him. But she was like, what speed? So
Exactly.
like, come on. Oh, that one hurt.
If only Keanu would have delivered him the title when he won it. Like, let me ask you
There's
this.
a bomb in the title.
Yeah, more likely or less likely to happen? Dragunov, Gunther, final.
Not going to happen. They're on the same brand.
Yeah.
It's gonna. That's
No,
the thing.
I mean final in the Raw. Final in the Raw brand.
That's going to happen. But what I was going to get to is what I'm upset is Dragunov and Gunther are going to be on television, not on a premium live event.
True.
Their first main roster matchup should be on a premium live event.
And I don't even remember who is on SmackDown tonight, so we'll figure that out as we go. If there was only someone who had a computer that could look up to see that who is participating on SmackDown tonight, that would be cool. Before we get to the SmackDown portion of this tournament, what's up with CM Punk's shirt cut? Like, it's a ringer tee, bro. You could probably get a regular t-shirt instead of looking like a pastor. I don't understand. Now, of course, he was stuck in WWE headquarters for the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw or heard about that.
Yes.
He literally just he went into the bathroom and they shut the place down. And he turned into like Phantom of the Opera is what he was saying. Slept on a couch, worked out in the gym, and just hung out long enough to get to Raw because they were in Stamford. Raw was in Hartford. So, yeah, it was a pretty interesting weekend for CM Punk.
And don't forget, he found the original WrestleMania 30 lineup card, the proposed matchups.
Oh,
Did you see that on Instagram? Okay, he took a picture of the original proposed matchup for WrestleMania 30, and it said CM Punk versus Triple H.
No kidding.
And Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. Main event was Randy Orton versus Batista. But one match that didn't make sense was for the U.S. Championship, they had Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's like, what? So Seth wasn't involved at all.
Yeah. So, Kevin.
So I did find the SmackDown, the brackets, Randy versus AJ.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean, man. Some of these are heavy hitters. Baron Corbin taking on Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight versus Santos Escobar, and then Bobby Lashley versus Tama Tonga. But I did read earlier
Lashley's
Bobby
out, Dawkins
bingo.
is in.
So, Bobby's out. Who's in?
Dawkins.
Oh, okay.
Angelo Dawkins. Okay.
Give the guy a chance, which is pretty cool. So if you had to make a pick right now, who is in the finals and who's going to win?
Ooh.
On SmackDown.
Well, no, I meant the entire tournament.
Oh, Gunther's going to win the whole thing. And it's going to be Gunther versus, I'll be lame, Randy.
Ah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So I'll be different. I'll go Dragunov over AJ Styles.
Dragunov's going to win. Carmelo Hayes is going to make a run into the finals. This is going to be his welcoming party to the main roster, which is pretty awesome. One more thing about Raw, which I didn't know was a thing until apparently it was a thing. Now we know SmackDown's going to USA in October.
Right.
NXT's going to the CW in October, right before One Tree Hill. And now I didn't know it was a thing, but Raw, I just assumed was going to stay on USA until January when they go to Netflix. Well, a $25 million extension was signed for Raw to stay on USA for 3 months, which is crazy because, like I said, I didn't know that was a story until apparently it was one. So congrats to Nick Khan for getting another $25 million from USA. Or, well, no, I guess WWE's probably paying USA for that one, right?
No, it's the other way
No,
around.
it's the other way.
It's a
Oh, it is?
network deal. Yeah.
People
okay.
watching, and then advertisers will pay because of the programming that's on.
Okay.
And they're getting $25 million for what is like
3 months.
historically the
12
lowest rated time of the year.
12 shows.
Yeah, but it's also during Monday Night Football. So it's usually during the lowest rated time,
Yeah.
like historically.
But compared, I'm sure it's a lot less than one full year. I'll have to investigate that.
Well,
I'm
it's
sure they
either
pay a
that
lot
or
more
we're
than a
watching
million
Chicago
or 100.
Fire or whatever's on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch SVU marathons all day. So if you want to hit me with a Monday night, if you wanted to, I would have been there for that. Talking about NXT, last week they had made some cuts. Now, full disclosure, it was a lot of names that I have never heard of until Friday. Gable Steveson. Now, maybe that's why Brian isn't here. He's sad. But a lot of people wondered why. Now, Meltzer just wrote a story. Now, excuse me if you're watching on YouTube, I have it on my computer over here. According to Meltzer, Steveson was released by the company for a very simple reason. He wasn't good. His contract was very big, and he wasn't cutting it. Now, it's also saying that he has allegations of sexual abuse to his name, which was his freshman year at Minnesota, and that he had that one match where he got booed with Baron Corbin. So it's apparently he just wasn't good enough. Now, reports have come out. Some NFL teams are interested in him. MMA is a possibility, and I bet down the road we get Gable Steveson back in WWE. I really feel like maybe that is why Brian is out. But any quick thoughts on the dismissal of Gable Steveson?
No.
Okay. Kev?
I very comparable to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had it.
Oh, not
Steveson.
No, he's
never,
not. No,
never even had
opposite
comparable.
of Kurt Angle.
No, okay.
He's an antonym of Kurt Angle.
I misspoke. Kurt Angle had it.
Kevin's house.
Steveson was
not Kurt Angle. Yeah. So
yeah, he's the exact opposite of Kurt Angle.
Go to MMA, man. Let him go beat some people up. Show the wrestling in there, man.
This is it.
Rashad Evans.
Brian was kind of like Brian kind of hindered Jinder.
Oh, he did.
He did. So this is karma.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this happened, and that's why he can't handle it.
Yeah. You know, that and the Celtics are playing right now as we record on Thursday. So funny how that all works out.
So the fable of Gable.
Yeah. So another NXT move. Mike Rome will be the new ring announcer for NXT. And they announced that Alicia Taylor is moving to the Blue brand, which is awesome because Alicia is I'm not a friend, but an acquaintance. Early on in my podcasting days in LA, I had her on my show at the time. This was before she went to NXT. She was a musician. She hosted a show called Heavy Wrestle, which was such a great name at the time. And that's the only reason I discovered her, because I wanted to name my wrestling podcast Heavy Wrestle, but it was already taken. But Alicia was super cool, and she's got such a great voice and great style. And now we're going to have two African-American women as the voices of Raw and SmackDown. How cool is that?
I think it's awesome because you hinted on both African-American women. Amazing. From there, she has a style. Like last night on NXT, or 2 nights ago on NXT, She wore like a leather short dress coat with huge tassels on the side. Like, is she going to have that cool style on SmackDown? Which I'm hoping she still has like that uniqueness because Irvin on Monday nights, she wears nice dresses, very elegant,
I don't
right?
know
Very,
if I
very
don't
like
think I've ever seen Alicia in dresses like that.
never. That's why I'm hoping they don't throw to be like your main roster. You kind of have to look more, I don't know, dressy, right? To be honest, I hope she still wears the funky outfits.
Yeah.
What make her like her hair this past Wednesday? It was awesome, man. It looked like she got electrocuted. Like it was. She looked awesome, but will that also make or that look good on SmackDown because you're in that NXT arena? It kind of looks, more unique. People have a little bit more I would say colorful personalities. I just hope they don't dilute her. That's my biggest thing. But I love her, man. I think her voice is great.
Joe?
I think because of the huge success of Samantha Irvin, it was time, and like they're both amazing, and but they're both completely unique and different in
Yep.
their own way of announcing. So that's what makes it even more
Mhm.
spectacular. Gone are the days of the tuxedo man saying scheduled for one fall. Now we're going to have personalities with our ring announcers too, and that's
They
great.
still say schedule for one
No,
fall.
no, but I said tuxedo man. Like it's
She could
basically like
wear
the old guy doing it. I love the thing. Don't get me wrong. She could wear a tuxedo. She
she
probably
could wear a
could.
variation of a tuxedo. Absolutely.
That's funny.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Very cool though. I'm excited for her and just the sound of how it's all going to change now, which is pretty
Mhm.
great. And speaking of change, WrestleMania moving 2 more weeks into the month of April to avoid conflict with March Madness in the Final Four. Going to Las Vegas, April 19th and 20th next year. Minnesota was in the running. I feel like, and I think I said this on this show, that some politicians said they were getting some sort of tax break or a tax bonus, and maybe that sunk Minnesota's chances for WrestleMania. But thoughts on Mania in Vegas? We'll go to you, Kev, because you and I spent a couple different trips to Vegas. One for wrestling, one not. But WrestleMania in Vegas?
For one, I like it because as a dad with a kid in school, spring break will always be the first week of April.
Okay.
Leading into at least the tail end or the beginning, which is either going to be the beginning or the end of Mania in years before. So 2 weeks later, I love it because then I won't have to deal with Mania on spring break or potentially missing it if I'm out of the country. And I also like it's a little bit further away from the Final Four because then it spreads out the amazing weekends of nerdness in our lives. If you love Final Four, and it kind of just spreads it out. Multiple Super Bowls per se versus having all your cake and eating it too in one weekend. But Vegas, holy moly, man, that's gonna be awesome. Great stadium, a little bit.
Hopefully the
April's
cash
not too
register.
bad.
Hopefully the credit card machines don't go down like it did at
Oh my
SummerSlam
gosh,
4 years ago.
we got awesome cookies there, though. I'll
Cookies
say
and
that.
frozen coffees and nachos. And
Give me that
Joe,
popcorn.
thoughts on Vegas WrestleMania?
I love the fact that it got bumped back.
Yeah.
That it's mid-April because like after the Final Four in WrestleMania, and it's just the start of baseball season where it's like nothing happening, it's kind of boring. So having Mania be in mid-April, it doesn't affect my teaching because usually Mania would be the Sunday and then I'd be back to school the next day. So after having a week off and then like that, I'm exhausted on Monday and the kids are like, welcome back. And I'm like, go away. So now I can like, adjust to that. And I'm not handcuffed to the fact that I'm not allowed to take the Monday off after a break. I can actually, I'm not planting the seed, Jason, but
Oh,
it is possible. No,
is this the boys' trip to Vegas for WrestleMania?
what I'm
I
saying
got the
is,
timeshare. Let's go. Let's make this work. Let's put this
What-
into the world. Kevin, join me on this. attempt for peer
Oh,
pressure.
I'm already booking a flight.
Yeah, fucking flight.
Look what you know what? This got me in trouble with the Jericho cruise when I
We're
said
going to
this.
Wale Mania. That's what we're gonna do. Be the
The,
white guys at Wale Mania. Let's go.
the point is, I'm like, I could, if it was an option, I actually could go because I'm
It's
not
an
like, it's
option.
not a blackout date of taking days off.
It's always an option, Joe.
But I love the fact that it's in, like, make the new tradition having it been mid-April for the simple fact that it's now a football stadium event.
Every
That
year.
means that mid-April, that means the Midwest and the East have a chance of getting better weather than what we had in Philadelphia of seeing everyone frozen in the crowd and complaining.
Yeah.
Mid-April, end of April, it's like 70, like high 60s, 70s, and it can be anywhere.
Well, in Vegas though,
It'll be like 90.
yeah, it'd be like 95. I don't think it'll be that bad, but
Well, let
yeah.
me ask you this, Jay. Do you think TKO will make a Uber UFC / WWE
No.
3-day event?
No, because UFC on Friday nights very rarely ever work. They've done it before. I don't think this is WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
You know, UFC has their International Fight Week pro show at the end of June this year, June 29th. So it's usually the first week of July, last weekend of June. So I don't think they're gonna cross the streams when it comes to this type of stuff. Like, it's Mania weekend, it's UFC weekend. Now they may do something, you know. I think down the road something like that will happen. Obviously, we're getting NXT at the Apex we're getting WWE, we're getting NXT at the UFC Apex in June, I believe. So that type of crossover stuff may happen, but with WrestleMania though, I don't know if that helps your company if you're, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff going on Mania weekend anyway from WWE on top of all the other indie promotions that, you know, piggyback off of the location. So I don't think we're going to get anything like that. So I'm excited. I will book the timeshare tonight.
God.
Book your flights now, preferably like Wednesday to Monday. We don't have to go to Raw. We can just get in there Wednesday, go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then be hungover on the flights home Monday morning. What do you got? I think it's a plan. And Brian, I know you're listening to this. You're into. We're making that shit happen. It's in the world now. Also in the world, AEW Dynamite was Wednesday, and we were going to hear from Kenny Omega, you know, from the hospital.
The fakest hospital ever.
Let me try that again. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm doing hospital room in finger quotes because that did not look like a hospital room. But he announced Anarchy in the Arena for Double or Nothing. It'll be the Bucks, Perry, and Okada, and against, originally it was FTR and 2 teammates to be named later. I thought for sure it would be Kingston. I did not expect Bryan Danielson, but it makes sense. Joe, we'll start with you.
Just like the whole segment or the whole show in general, or just the Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great match. I'm gonna have to buy Double or Nothing anyway. You're putting the challenge on there. I don't think it will be the best match that night, but it's like, you know, I was surprised Bryan Danielson was the fourth. I figured Kingston, but I'm like, who's gonna be the fourth?
Mm-hmm.
Who are they gonna throw out there? Who's it? Like, I had no idea. And then here we go, and I'm like, all right, cool. Then he's no longer a heel. He is a flat out face now.
I don't know if he's ever actually a heel.
He kind of was when the Blackpool Combat Club started.
Yeah.
Now that's my other question, because I thought for a second there, I thought it was going to be Kingston and then Claudio, and that would have been like, you know, whoa.
They've done that already. They've done that.
Right.
Well, you know, remember though, at the Anarchy in the Arena maybe 2 years ago, is that famous scene of Kingston all bloody with the gas can. He was going to light Daniel's fire. Right. They actually made an AEW figure of that.
Did they?
With the, I have it. I had to have it because it was awesome. So
and didn't they have a part of the Continental Challenge tournament? Those two against each other, and Bryan Danielson had the body shaming sign on him too.
He's a bum.
He's a bum. So yeah, it's like it's gonna be cool, but it's just I hated the fact that it went so over the show. that
The
it
Bucks
felt
made a call.
rushed.
They got
It felt rushed because you had to get Mercedes in there too for pointlessness.
terrible. Mercedes is not good. Sasha was so much better, but that's besides the point. Kev, thoughts on Anarchy in the Arena?
I wish the presentation of the announcing of the extra 2 would have been Kingston this week. Reveal another one next week because the pay-per-view is not for over 2 weeks away.
3 weeks away, yeah.
Yeah, so you could have easily, unless there's going to be some shenanigans where one of them gets hurt and they put in another person, I would have liked to see a slow reveal, not just, we announced it. Here are the participants already. No thought process whatsoever. Like, I did like it how Kenny was like, hey, I'm still an EVP. I can call shots. That was fun. That was my only thought. The match is going to be awesome. The pay-per-view is probably going to be fantastic. One of the best of all time from AEW, guarantee it. My biggest gripe is on the poster, Mercedes is right there in the middle, and Willow's all the way to the side.
Yeah, she sucks. While you were watching, did you guys try to see if you could figure out who the other 2 were? Because I was thinking it was going to be Adam Copeland, but then I realized he's going to have Malachi Black. And any other thoughts of who you guys maybe thought it might have been that obviously wasn't?
Well, like I said, I thought it was It was going to be Kingston and Claudio. Yeah. But
okay,
I at least I got one of them right, but I didn't text it, so that meant it didn't really exist.
Exactly.
Yeah, my mind was totally clear. I was surprised with Danielson, but one of the best on the entire company, and it fills a spot for him to be on there versus having it shoved of a match that doesn't really make sense. So
we may not get Moxley. We may not get audio on the card. Who knows where Wheeler Yuta is?
Oh, they're going to have a 20-man battle royal.
Oh, the
chip.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But there was another part of me too that I was like, well, maybe Ospreay?
Well, no, because he
fights
who's he fighting?
Shit. I just looked at it earlier. 1 second. I looked at the entire card. That's how I saw the poster and saw Mercedes.
No?
Is he good? He's not going against Okada, is he?
No, that's Continental. Okada's in Anarchy in the Arena. Ospreay is doing who's the TNT champ?
There it is.
It's the TNT champion is Adam Copeland.
I'll read down the entire card right now.
Oh, Ospreay is facing
Kev got the card, Joe.
Okay.
So I'll read them off, even the ones we already know. World Championship match, Swerve versus Christian Cage. We'll get to that fun stuff in a few minutes. AEW Women's, Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb. TBS Championship, Willow versus Mercedes. Joe, you were trying to think of Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay, and then Anarchy in the Arena right now, and then Adam Copeland I thought was fighting. It's not on the official card.
Not official yet, but
not official yet.
The way he's been battling through.
Yeah.
Through the house.
And I'm sure
it's like an MJF challenge right now, but it's just in the House of Black.
And I'm sure Orange Cassidy will fight something with Trent or Trent. Maybe
with the Callis family.
Maybe it's Orange Cassidy versus Trent in a minivan match.
Where they fight in a minivan?
Yeah.
You know, I want Trent in the BCC in the worst way. This serious Trent is one of my favorites. And I know I've said it. I'm sure someone's like, God, this guy doesn't shut up. He says the same shit every week. Well, too bad. Trent in the BCC makes total sense. But we had Trent kicking Orange Cassidy's ass last night, which led to Don Callis making the save.
Yeah.
Can Orange Cassidy be the next member of the Don Callis family? Joe?
I would like to see it for the simple fact that it's something different, because it's like Trent would make more sense, but he's on his own, but he wants to be on his own. He's saying no friends.
Right.
Stick with that. But having Orange Cassidy be part of the Callis family and still have the same shtick of not caring about being, okay, you got my back, whatever. Like, I'm digging it. I was really pleasantly surprised because it made no sense whatsoever, but it worked.
Kev?
I agree with Joe. It does not make sense. And I really want it to work. Just like pineapple on pizza. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't work. I
Doesn't
want this to not make
It
sense
does.
and work. I want it to be the opposite.
and Swerve got his ass kicked by his crew
I
thanks to
know.
Christian and the Young Bucks making a deal. That makes no sense.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. Brian Cage turns on all of his partners.
Okay.
Didn't he turn on Team Taz too? And like basically every time he's teamed with someone, he fights him from the back. Like the way he was positioned, I'm like, oh, they're turning on him right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense because then when he beats Christian,
It's
then it
called
automatically
jealousy.
sets up the next challenger because it's not like he's going to be thrown against Osprey right away or someone like that. Let him beat some challengers that on paper he should beat. Nice
I
little
think
title run before he could legitimately maybe lose it.
I think we get Swerve Cage next week, and then the other two the following week.
Right. Like Jason, think of it this way: like let's say one of us, like in soccer terms, moves up to the regulated to the next league. You know, one of us is going to be behind you with the steel chair to beat your brains in for doing that. That's what happened with the embassy. They one of their own became
At least
champion,
you
and
know
that's
it's
called
me.
jealousy.
At least
I
you know it's me that's going to be
Yeah, that was a
three
slip of
of
the
you.
tongue. I meant
Okay.
Kevin. I'm going to turn on you at SummerSlam.
Dang.
And
Dang.
then, and then finally, Adam Copeland, Brody
Whatever.
King. You guys know I
Yeah.
love Brody King. I'm enjoying Adam Copeland in AEW. It's good to see him have matches that he wouldn't have otherwise. And he
Yeah.
came out today. He almost went to AEW before he returned to WWE, and I'm glad he didn't do that then because he'd never been in the greatest wrestling match of all time. So Copeland, Brody King, Kev, I know you're a Copeland guy. Did you enjoy the match and all?
I Copeland, I feel like came in, got it's not stale, but I wanted so much more from him. Now he's getting those matches that I want to see. I want to see him beat up on guys. I want to see him get his ass beat by guys. Brody's scary, man.
Of that
If I was, there's not many guys. Well, actually, shit, I would probably say every professional wrestler. If I saw in an alley, I'd be scared. But he's legitimately a
Flaggle.
scary ass looking dude. Like I'm sure he's the nicest guy outside and eat dinner. Or just a big softy, but the dude looks legitimately scary. I just like it that Adams, fighting legitimate monsters in AEW
I loved
and
it. We
taking
got
some
Copeland and
losses.
Suzuki. When we
Huh?
got Suzuki a couple months back, we got
Yeah.
Copeland. Something I didn't know I wanted, but
Yeah.
it was awesome.
But I'm glad, to be honest, I'm glad they didn't go to AEW that first run too, because when he came back to WWE, he showed that dude had a six pack. I remember that. I mentioned that right away. It's like, man, the dude's like 40 something, chiseled. I'm glad he came back because he had a great run with WWE.
Yeah.
Is he still going to be a champion in AEW one day? I don't really care. It's not needed. That's the beautiful thing. Let him wrestle. Let us watch him wrestle. And that's the best thing about it.
Go.
He already is a champion. He's the TNT
Well,
champion. Now, will he
I
be
mean, world
the
champ. Yes,
champion?
yes, yes. Good call.
That's
Good
the
call.
difference.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
I thought it was their best match of the night. I really enjoyed it, but it was ranked fourth on the matches of the week. I thought the three men's qualifiers for Raw were better than Copeland and
Yeah.
Brody. So I'm not a big fan of like that much blood. I'm sorry. It's not needed as much, especially so early. I liked the reason why the end. First of all, it was a great match, but I liked the reason at the end why Kyle O'Reilly helped. And it was shown backstage, Copeland all exhausted and saying, like, Cope open. And he's like, oh, I see what you're doing right now. I'm vulnerable. All right, you got it. See you Saturday. They set up the next
Mm-hmm.
show. They made it make sense. And that's what I liked most about it was it advanced the storyline one for Kyle O'Reilly to give him something to do, and two for House of Black because you knew Copeland was going to win, but it was such a good entertaining match. You didn't know how much he was going to get beat up, and he got beat up.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, this isn't on the rundown because I just found out this happened today. During the Ring of Honor taping before Dynamite last night, this is from Reddit, Squared Circle Reddit. The title is "Watched an Awful Thing Happen Involving Sky Blue Tonight at the ROH Tapings." I'm sure you can guess what I'm about to read. A man in the front row continued to make vulgar comments about Sky, commenting on her body, calling her baby girl, the whole shebang. The whole match wouldn't stop when other people told him to shut the fuck up. He just got louder. Aubrey Edwards finishes reffing the match and screams for him to be kicked out by security. Both AEW and arena security were involved. More people were called when he put up a fight. He had a child with him. Sky left the ring quickly and was very upset. Yeah, it's a shitty thing. This is happening in 2024 to anybody. But of course, Twitter being Twitter, someone is defending the guy doing this.
Is it Ric Flair?
No.
Are they saying like he's a heckling or something like that?
Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay. Is he Ric Flair? Fuck.
No, that's just at restaurants in the middle of the day.
We're not going there. Some
just did.
fatherly advice for Sky Blue and all female wrestlers. Stop showing so much ass. Try to look more like a fighter than a stripper. The fishnets are fucking corny. You're making the nerds feel uncomfortable. Which then led to a reply from many. But this one was awesome.
Yeah, but it was the troll was doing what he wanted.
I'm Chelsea Green.
Oh.
Let me get this straight. Our male counterparts can walk around shirtless with tiny underwear on, but we can't wear our outfits because you mouth breathers can't keep your dick in your pants. Sounds like the problem isn't Sky and her insanely great body. It's you, my guy. So here's the thing. I think we talked about this, I don't know, a year ago. Don't be a dick when you go to a wrestling show. To the men, to the women. And Kev, that would be like you doing this shit with Bert with you.
Yeah, it's weird.
Come on. Don't be
Stranger thing is you're bringing another child with you instead of yours.
It's just, this is the thing. Like, we were on the cruise, right? Yeah. Sky Blue is right there. Very little in person. Like, she's short. She's like
5 feet,
5 foot or something. Anyway, I mean, she even looks smaller in person. Somehow she just has a big booty. That's what I think in my mind. I'll tell you guys that, but I would never in my mind being on front row. Hey, baby girl, nice butt. Hey, baby girl. Hey, that's number one. That's even creepy with with that type of comments. If you say booty or whatever, you're saying what people are thinking. Keep it to a minimum, as in nothing, right? It's the creepiness of
You're thinking of the Zodiac, the barber, the disciple.
But it's that. It's like, that's not your girlfriend. That's not your friend. You don't know her except for watching her. That's just as creepy, if not even stalkerish, from saying the over the line body type comment.
Well,
it's creepy all around, man.
That dude on Twitter is getting killed. Actually,
good. So, how many followers does he have? Probably like 3. Though.
What are your thoughts on this while I look for this?
Long story short, the defense of she wouldn't address that way didn't work in the past. It definitely should not work now. You cannot blame someone for the way they dress for anything. It's ridiculous. Especially, I love Chelsea Green. So her even saying the male counterparts are allowed to wear their underwear and be oiled up and everything like that too. I mean, it's the same thing, but drunken idiots with their kids, where the kids are probably more mature than the adult. Ridiculous. And it's like, it's the type of crowd you get into. I go back when I'm thinking about this too. I'm guessing a Ring of Honor taping to get like ringside and that close up isn't that expensive. I'm guessing
before Dynamite.
It's before Dynamite. So what is it like to get ringside for a Dynamite? It's probably like
$200.
It's that.
All right. So
ringside for Raw, depending on the town, is anywhere between $600 to $700.
So is it a televised match.
It will be televised on their Honor Club program. They're streaming.
Yeah, that's even creepier than, man. I don't know. And Joe, you mentioned the guy might have been drunk. If he was drunk saying that,
that's not an excuse for him either.
Sober saying that, oh my! Oh, I know you're not making an excuse at all.
If you want to avoid that, especially for like a TV taping, you're gonna have to raise your prices at ringside.
Joe, it was for you don't. It's not a separate thing. It's you buy a ticket to Dynamite. It's the dark.
No, I know. And you're gonna have to raise your prices for ringside for that whole event, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but their prices are already through the roof, which is why nobody goes.
So
Rachel,
the whole purpose of this story is don't be a dick.
Yes, don't be a dick. Shut the fuck up. Seriously. Rachel Ellering, who was in the ring with Sky Blue, the speed in which Ref Aubrey and I got out of the ring last night post-match to get this creep kicked out was remarkable. Olympic medalist speeds. And then Aubrey checked in. If you yell disgusting, vile, hateful things at my coworkers, I will make sure your ass gets kicked out. There is no place for that in wrestling. Heckling is fine, but when you've made the performers, me included, feel uncomfortable in their place of work, you've gone too far. So this stuff is I am fascinated that this is happening still. Like, Where the fuck are we in the world, man? Where was that? Was that in like
Edmonton?
Well, it was in Edmonton.
Yeah, they kept chanting, "Let's go Oilers."
Oh, those Canadians are usually nice. James.
Not during the playoffs. Not during hockey playoffs.
Oh my.
Whatever. So let this be
kudos to Aubrey though.
Yes.
I'll say that because sometimes I feel like she likes to be more in the action as like in the match, right? So kudos to her for one, sticking up for the ladies, sticking up for herself as a lady. And once again, Jay, what the moral of the story is?
Don't be a dick. Shut the fuck up.
That is going to be.
That's how we're ending the show. This is how we're ending the show. Come on, we gotta get something more positive here. We're ending on such a downer.
Do you have anything else?
Not really. Yes, I not really. No, sorry.
We ended on a downer, but in a positive spin.
Yeah, we're.
Okay, fine. It ended a little dirty.
No, we're defending.
No, I know we're defending, but it's like we had to talk about that idiot.
At wrestling shows. It's not that hard.
It's really not.
Don't be a dick. Shut the fuck up.
Thank you for attending
and
that.
Just enjoy wrestling.
The last one.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And cut.
Wait, who are the Celtics playing?
I'm just teasing.
Or Cleveland or
Orlando?
Cleveland. Okay. No, Orlando didn't make the playoffs.
No, they did make the playoffs.
Well, they did. They got beat by
Cleveland.
Okay, so go Cavs.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So we are on social media at that WrestlePod.
Oh, we're still talking. Oops.
Yeah, well, this is the show, Kevin. We didn't cut. Just because you said cut. That doesn't mean we cut.
We're live, pal.
No, don't say that either. That's corny. At That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. We've sold a lot of shirts. We made Raw way better than it ever has been. So you know where to get the shirts. And
at whatamaneuver.net.
Yeah, you can get that, whatever he said. And we're rambling because I'm just fired up from those idiots, man. Like, anyway, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week on That Wrestling Podcast. Brian may be relegated. Check in next week to find out.
Thanks for watching That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for more That Wrestling Podcast content, follow at That WrestlePod on social media.